Do you want to be near the beaches, downtown West Palm, and all the energy of the eastern communities, but with $1 million budget is starting to feel impossible? Well, what if I told you that there is a hidden gem with a prime location, a waterfront lifestyle, a strong sense of community without breaking the bank? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you about that hidden gem, and it's Lake Clarke Shores. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to show you some of the active listings in town so that you can see how far your $1 million budget will go. So stay with me. So as usual, I like to start with a map, and we're talking about Lake Clarke Shores today. And Lake Clarke Shores has like 1,500 homes. I think it's got about 3,000 residents. So I'm gonna show you, it's kind of right here. I just thought I'd start with this map because here's the town, here's I-95. So it's just west of 95 and just in the southern corner of West Palm Beach. So here's West Palm, kind of runs a little bit north of here, all the way down to the C-51 canal here. So all this is the other videos that I've done talking about the different communities of West Palm Beach, those historic communities that run along the Lake Worth intracoastal here. And here you can see Lake Clarke Shores. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see, we either think in terms of like north, south, east, west roads and your main thoroughfares. So Southern Boulevard, this is the road that takes you to the South Bridge of West Palm, those three bridges, the north, the middle, and the south bridge. And then the next main road and exit off of 95 is Forest Hill. So you can see there's Trump International Golf Course, and here's the PBI, Palm Beach International, and here's downtown West Palm, here's Palm Beach, and here's Lake Clarke Shores. So the location is perfect, and it's kind of been a sleeper. Like, I think back when people could really, it was easy to live in these eastern communities of West Palm. This was kind of just a quiet little town that you never thought about. But now that a lot of Palm Beachers have moved over to West Palm, we've had so many transplants to the area that Lake Clarke Shores has become a really interesting option to be close to the beaches, close to downtown, close to the airport, and the price points are still not fully discovered. They're certainly not what they are here in South Soso or in El Cid. So anyway, there's that. So I'm going to go over to the niche rating just to show you that it has an A rating. I was actually surprised that it shows crime of a C+, because Lake Clarke Shores is a municipality. It was established like back in the 50s, and the name Lake Clarke comes from the fact that it is right on Lake Clarke. If you see this water, it's inner water along here from Hypoluxo, it actually goes all the way down to Delray. They call this the Blue Way because they've started connecting all these lakes. There's Lake Ida down here, Lake Osborne, and so Lake Clarke is here in Lake Clarke Shores. So the town was developed like in the late 50s. So most of the home styles are mid-century modern and, kind of that whole South Florida look. Although now that the town's starting to get discovered, there's a lot of redevelopment going on there. So it really is an interesting option. And as you can see, so what I was saying was it is a municipality. So they do have their own police department. They have their own town hall. And there are a lot of town facilities. So public schools in the area are excellent, as well as the same private school options as you have in these other towns of the West Palm area. And as you can see, the population is 3,500 and almost 100% owned homes. And the other thing I wanted to say was I'm going to show you this other map because there is even an option. So this is more of a west is up here. This is north. So here's Forest Hill Boulevard. I-95 is right over here, but all this water is, the only thing about it is it's not connected to the intercoastal, but you can water ski here, and this is connected to the other lakes as I showed you. And right here is a townhome community that's part of this community. So it's mostly single family homes, and then it has this townhome option. So it's an interesting living choice. And I have friends that used to be my neighbors when I lived in the historic area of West Palm, just around the Belvedere area and Olive. And they've since moved to Lake Clarke Shores, and they really like it. And they have a business in Palm Beach, as do a couple of other people that I know who live here in Lake Clarke Shores. So it's kind of a little secret, and the prices reflect that. And so we'll go into that later in the video. So before we get into what the neighborhoods look like and the homes, what's available there, I want to just talk a little bit about the municipality and just a little color commentary. Lake Clarke was actually named after a guy named John Clarke back in the early 1900s, which there was not much around here at all. And there was a lot of pineapple farming going on to the east of here, like in the So and Prospect Park area. And so this was on the western border of John Clarke's pineapple farm, was what he named after himself, Lake Clarke. And this Lake Clarke, as I was saying before about the Blue Way project, I'm showing you some photos here. It's called the Blue Way Trail Access. It's a little bit controversial because what the goal is that showing you this picture of this lake system. If you look along the top of this photo, you can see at the far left where it starts down near Delray, Lake Ida, and then Lake Eden, Lake Osborne around the Lake Worth area, and then Lake Clarke, and then Pine Lake to the north of Lake Clarke. All these lakes are connected, and a lot of fishermen and kayakers and actually water skiers like to use these lakes. So what the Blue Way access goal is, basically they want to, the C-52 canal is what divides the city of West Palm from the city of Lake Worth Beach. And that has a spillway, like if you look at my Lake Worth video, you'll see where I'm showing you here what the C-52 canal looks like leading out to Lake Worth and the Intercoastal. But people that are in here, like in Lake Clarke Shores, they can't access the Intercoastal and also the ocean because there are these there's a spillway, like a lock. And what they're proposing is they want to put a lock in here that would allow boats to come from Lake Clarke Shores and that inner Blue Way out to the Intercoastal. I think they're trying to get it approved with the county. And as you can see here, there's a lot of towns listed as being in agreement with it, but some are not. So it remains to be seen if this happens, but it's kind of interesting. And it does give Lake Clarke Shores that waterfront vibe, if you will, because part of the lake is fairly wide and then there are canals off of it and you can enjoy the water. The city is, it is a separate municipality and it has a beautiful town hall right in the middle of the town south of Forest Hill Boulevard, and their police department is there, and there are tennis courts and pickleball courts and a really nice playground for kids with lots of shade. And you can see here there's a large pavilion for parties and a good sized grill for cooking out. I think they have a lot of community events here. And then around the city, around the town, there is not only this park area here at the town hall, but there's also Memorial Park, which is out along Forest Hill Boulevard and looks south over the waterway. There's Pine Tree Park to the north of Forest Hill Boulevard, and Boat Ramp Park, which I'll show you some pictures here. Now there's on the southwest section of town, there is this boat ramp where you could keep if you're not on a canal here in town, you could keep your boat on a trailer and put it in here at the boat ramp. And as you can see, it's just a beautiful vista looking out on Lake Clarke. And you can easily get out here and enjoy the waterway. People really enjoy fishing here in the waterway. It's kind of brackish water. It is tidal because it is connected to the C-52 canal, but not where you can access the Intercoastal. And also a lot of water skiers all the way down through the Blue Trail down toward Lake Ida. A lot of people like to water ski down there, water ski in Lake Osborne. And I think there's a lot of water skiers here in Lake Clarke. So that gives you an idea of the amenities here in town. The funny thing is you're adjacent to 95, but you really don't hear it. But you can easily hop on 95 and you're at the airport. You get very little airport traffic from here, air traffic overhead. And then if you head east on Forest Hill Boulevard, that takes you to Dixie. Just north of there is the whole historic area, the design district. And you can take Forest Hill all the way till it ends to the east and you end up at Flagler. And then that's that whole run of So. And you can go just south of there and end up in Lake Worth Beach. So it's really has great proximity to a lot of other towns and areas that are very popular. So I'd just like to take a minute, in case this is your first time at the channel, to introduce myself. My name is Diane Wimbrow, and I am a lifelong South Floridian and realtor here in Northern Palm Beach County. And I get calls and texts from people all the time who are thinking about moving to South Florida, but they just don't know where to start. And I just love to get these calls because I love to help people figure out the right place for them to live in South Florida. So if this sounds like you, feel free to reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text. And in the meantime, hit the subscribe and the notification bell below so you'll be notified every time we have a new video. So let's get back to talking about Lake Clarke Shores. So as I'm showing you some of these street views throughout Lake Clarke Shores, you can see they're in various states of renovation and improvement. There's new construction happening with high-end builders. There's renovations and I've even noticed some lots that were for sale. So I'm going to share my screen to show you what's currently listed. There's 19 active listings in Lake Clarke Shores right now. I'll show you this map. So here they are throughout the neighborhood. This Forest Hill goes through kind of part of the town. So part of the town is up here north of Forest Hill, and here's the main heart of town. And the highest price property for sale right now is at $1,399,000. Doesn't have a garage. Been on the market for 160 days, so probably it's had a recent price reduction. And as you can see, though, it's beautifully done throughout. It doesn't appear to be on the water, but it has a very nice pool area. You can see the all completely updated kitchen, living rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, all updated. And then you've got another one here, same kind of across the waterway on the eastern part of the community, this Keller Road. And this is at $1,395,000. Both of these are 5-bedroom homes. This one looks like it could use a little updating on the outside, but the inside is beautiful. So, but another example, so you've got these like 4 homes that are priced over $1 million. But then there's probably all the rest of them. There's 19 total. A few of them are townhomes. And here are some examples of houses that are for sale. They need a little work, but that's what's going on here is you could spend less than $1 million and get a house that's on the water and have to do a little bit of renovating, but it could get you in the neighborhood and you're in a great community. So I just wanted to give you a feel for what that looks like. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. I'd love to hear your thoughts or your comments in the comment section below. And you can also feel free to call or text me anytime. And in the meantime, hit the like and subscribe and notification buttons below, and you'll be notified every time we have a new video come out on Saturday mornings. So thanks for watching.